Hey, hello guys. So last time we have seen the agenda of understanding what is the relationship and what is data modeling and why do we need to create the relationship between the tables. We understood two schemas, uh, the star schema and the snowflake schema. And if you remember last time when we removed the relationship between these two tables, you can see what you are getting the incorrect answers. So we need to go back here and definitely create a relationship once again between the two tables. So what I'll do is I'll drag this column from here to here. Okay, it will create a relationship. Power BI is so smart that it will automatically understand that it is one to star relationship. Okay, and now if we go back, we can see that we are getting the correct answers in the report. So that's a very important thing. Okay, so now when the question which came in my mind, okay, I understood the point of relationship, what is it and why do we need it, all the points, but how to manage it? The question which comes in my mind when we are loading the data set into Power BI and when we are creating the data model, how we should manage the relationship. For that, first of all, what you can do is when you load the data for the first time in Power BI, what you can do is you can go to on your data tab and you can click on manage relationships. So this manage relationship, it what features we have inside this? It is already showing me that these two relationships are existing there into my model. So this has we have not created this. This has been created by Power BI itself. Okay, but sometimes what we need to do is if we are not finding these relationships here, what we can do is we can click on auto detect. So that is a very good way to tell Power BI to auto detect the relationship. Right now, it is not finding any new relationship because it has already created two auto detected relationship between the tables. But in case if there will be any new, you are adding the new tables and you want to create the relationship for those tables, you can go and click on auto detect. If the Power BI will detect the relationship automatically, it will create it for you. Okay, if not in this way, or maybe possible you need to edit the existing relationship. You want to edit the existing relationship. So for example, I have a relationship between this the sales fact table and the product ID table, which you have just seen, the product table. So if we need to edit this relationship, now what is the meaning of when we are editing a relationship? Let's understand this window in a very proper way. It will make a lot of point to be clear here. Okay, so it will help you when you will create a new relationship as well. Okay, between the two tables. So if we see when we are editing a relationship, what it is telling me right now that we have a relationship between the sales fact and the product table. So inside the sales fact table, this is my primary key. This is the primary key table, and this is this is my sales fact table. This is my foreign key column, and inside the product table, this is my primary key table. Okay, so it's a many to one relationship because we have to understand the many to one as per the direction. If this table comes first, this table will go above the product table and the sales fact table will come down, then it will become one to many. It will become one to many. Okay, let's I'm repeating once again. See the directions of the cardinality. See the direction of relationship. In the cardinality type, we have many to one, one to one, one to many, and many to many. Let's understand all these points. What are they? So many to one. We are first talking about right now. We are into many to one relationship. What is the meaning of that? Because on the top you have a sales fact table, and down below we have the product table as a primary key. Each product table in the product table, each product ID can have multiple times entered inside this table. Okay, this product ID is here, they are primary key inside the product table. So one product ID, definitely they will be unique. So it will not be repeated. It will be appearing here for one time. But this product ID can be appeared in the sales fact table in this product ID column n number of times. So that's why the direction, because the sales fact table is above, the direction is many to one. But if it will be product table will go above and the sales fact table will come down below, it will be one to many. Okay, because each single product can be sold n number of times in the sales table. So we can have the entry of that product ID column in the sales fact table n number of times. So the direction will change accordingly and it will become one to many. This is the most common relationship which we have here inside the tables. The product ID table and the product table and the sales fact table. If we talk about city table and the sales fact table, country table and the sales fact table. This is the most common relationship, either one to many or many to one. Okay, a very few scenarios are there which we will use for many to many relationships. Okay, so we'll see for that as well, and one to one as well. But this is the word we use, the type of relationship what we have, it is called as cardinality. This is called as cardinality for that relationship. Okay, so, and what is the direction of cross filtering? The cross filter direction, is it in a single filter direction or a both filter direction? That means what? A simple point to understand that is, the product, based on your product ID, we are filtering the data inside the sales fact table. Simple and straightforward point. Based on your product ID column in the product table, okay, we are filtering the data from the sales fact table. So it's a single filter direction. It's not that we are filtering the data from both the sides. Okay, the filter will be applied from this product ID primary key column. Okay, so it's a single filter direction. So I hope you got it. So click on OK. We are done with this relationship. And whenever we need to create a new relationship, you can start doing from here as well. You can click on the new relationship and you can put up the table name, what your table name is. So let's create a new relationship between the geo table and the sales fact table. So can you see there where we have two zip columns, appearing here. And right now, before this, if we go back to our model, we don't have, you can see from here as well. And you can see from here as well that we don't have a relationship between the geo table and the sales fact table. So what will be happening if we don't have the relationship? What will be happening is, if I go to my sales fact table and I select my total revenue for a new chart, let's convert it into a bar chart this time. Okay, and I want to see the sales as per my from the geo table. I'll select maybe country. I want to see sales country wise, but I'm getting same problem once again. I'm getting the same value for each and every country. For Canada, same answer. For France, same answer. Everywhere I have the same answer only. Now, how to handle this? I'll go to my data type once again, click on manage relationships. I'll click on new relationship. I'll click on my zip table. I'll select my geo table from here, the zip column. And from here, I'll select the sales table, the zip column once again. It is automatically detecting that's a many to many relationship. I have not done anything. It's automatically detecting that's a many to many relationship. The reason for that is, in the zip column, it may be the entry is repeating. It's not a unique column. And in the sales fact table, for each zip value, it may appear, the sales may appear n number of times. Okay, I'm happy with this. So that's an example where we can use a many to many relationship. So if you click on OK, that's fine. I hit on close, and if I go back to my graph, my visualization, I can see I'm start getting the correct answer for my tables. I'm start getting the correct answers for each and every city wise, country wise sales. Even I can now go more forward. I can do it by maybe I can do it by district wise as well. Not district. This will be too much. I can do it by city wise as well. Okay, so it will add a more level down. It will turn down a more level city wise sales as well. Okay, but for a country wise, we are getting the correct answers now. So this is how we need to create the relationship manually as well. Sometimes what happens is, to manage the relationship properly, we need to add some extra columns as well. We need to add some extra columns in the table, and we can create the relationship accordingly. So let's see that as well. If I see this table once again, my country table once, my geo table once again, where I have the country column and I have the sales fact table. So it's a many to many relationship. You can already see here on this relationship, it's denoting a star to star. That means a many to many relationship between the two tables. Okay, so now what I want is, I want to see, okay, I will say, I'll go back to my transform data option. I'll go back to my Power Query editor. And inside the geo table, I'll first jump up to the geo table. I'll add a new column. I'll add a custom column here. Okay. Inside this custom column, I want to create a combination of country zip. Okay. So here I need two columns to be concatenated. The country column, I want the country column to be concatenated with a comma symbol. We concatenated with zip value. Okay, just a moment. Yeah, so I missed the double quotes. It was in a single quote. That's why it was showing an error. That's fine now. So I hit on OK. It will create a concatenated column for me with the countries, and between the countries and the zip column, separating with a comma, separating the values by a comma symbol. Okay, same column I can go here into create and create in the sales fact table as well. I don't have a country column here. So first of all, based on zip value, I'll create a country column. So what I'll do, I'll add a conditional column here, and the name of that column will be country. And I'll say, okay, if my zip begins with 72, oh, I'll rename the name. I'll add that column as my maybe France. Add clause. Else if the zip begins with 72, we'll call it as maybe I'm not very confirmed, but maybe Mexico, and else other. We'll check the values and we'll replace later on what is required. So maybe I will get in the others as well. But what I wanted now is I want to concatenate once again the country zip column. So I'll add one more custom column here. I'll call that column also as country zip. And I'll call that column as country concatenated by ampersand with a comma symbol concatenated by zip column. Done. So now we have a common column between the two tables, and that way also we can create the relationship. So this is a custom columns which we have created into the two tables, and now we can use these columns to create the relationship between the existing tables. Go back here, click on close and apply. It will start loading the data here into the table. The changes which we have made in the two tables, it's loading them. Let it to be loaded. And meanwhile, what you can do is you can go and start checking your relationship between in your model. Okay, checking the existing relationship in your model. So you have the correct relationships or not. And if not, then you should go and start creating the proper relationships. Now, what we need to talk about is, meanwhile it is loading, let me show you a very important point as well. If you see your data set, if you see the data set, we don't have a direct relationship between the manufacturer table and the sales fact table as well. Let it to be loaded and then we'll see on that. So just give me one moment. After loading the data, it will check the relationship as well. If any existing between the tables, it will check for the relationship as well, and then it will complete the loading process. For this demo purpose, we are using this import mode, but generally we should go for our direct query mode. That's what the difference is. When the data sets are too huge, when the data sets are too big, it takes a lot of time to import the data. It's always better to go for direct query mode. Yeah, so now done. And what I was telling you is, let's go back here to our module and let's understand that point. I go and minimize this. And now if I go to my my model of my data model, I can see what I can see is I cannot find a direct relationship between the manufacturer table and the fact table. The manufacturer table does not have a direct relationship between the with the fact table. If I go back on my visualization pane and if I create once again, let's say I want to see the total sum of units for each manufacturer. What I'll do is I'll go to my manufacturer table and I'll select manufacturer name. But I'm getting the correct answers. I'm getting each and for each and every manufacturer, we are getting the correct answers. How it is possible? Until and unless we don't have a relationship between the manufacturer table and the sales fact table. But the problem is we cannot create a relationship between these two tables as well. We cannot create a relationship between the manufacturer table and the sales fact table directly because the reason is we don't have any common column here. But we are getting the correct answer. So how it is managing it? Let's understand what is happening here. If you see very closely, if I just zoom it a bit more, if you see very closely, we have a relationship from the manufacturer table with the product table. This is the relationship between the manufacturer table and the product table. This is the primary key here. So that's why it is 1-2 star relationship. Each manufacturer can manufacture definitely number of products. This manufacturer ID is referring as a foreign key here. Okay. So we have a 1-2 star relationship between the manufacturer table and the product table. And then the product table has a relationship with the sales fact table. The product table has a relationship with the sales fact table. So now we have an indirect relationship between the manufacturer table and the sales fact table. This table of product is acting here as an associative table. This is called as an associative relationship. When we are connecting this manufacturer table to the product table, it is indirectly getting connected with the sales fact table, and that is the reason we are getting the correct answers here inside this chart. So this product table is working as an associative table to connect the relationship between the manufacturer table and the sales fact table. It is always not compulsory, and that's not possible as well. Always that you'll have a direct relationship between the dimension table and the fact table. So for that, if you don't have any such columns, you can use any other dimension tables as an associative table as well. Okay, and then you can will indirectly get the relationship between the dim and the fact, which we are getting here, and we'll start getting the correct answers. Okay, so make sure that if you need it, you implement those in accordingly in your tables in the data model. Okay, so if we click on this relationship, if we double click on this relationship, we can edit it once again. You can see it's many to one because the direction is product to manufacturer. Okay, if I change the direction of table, how we can change it? We can just switch the table names from here. If I change it to manufacturer and here I change it to product, it will become one to many, rejecting automatically, and now it is one to many. That's fine. That's not. I hope you are clear with this already. This relationship is already active, and we are happy with this. But if I still select this, and we can have a property option here as well. Let's understand this property as well. What is the meaning of this property option? If I select this relationship, and if I see the properties of the relationship, what the relationship properties are. Okay, so when we see the relationship of a property, it shows three options. Show the database in the header when applicable. Yes, the relationship when is applicable. Show the database name in the header. Show related fields. Yes, we are already showing the show related fields. This relationship is showing me the related fields. If I uncheck this, if I make it no, now we had to apply it. I think show related fields when the card is collected. Okay, but yes, we should make it enabled here. Okay, and now let's talk about the properties of a table. When we are onto the data model tab, what are the properties of a table? So if I click on the product table, if I select the product table and I go into properties, we can find a lot of values here. So let's understand these properties as well one by one. First, the name and description. These are not two very common complex things. So I think you can understand yourself. You can add a description here for a table. So whenever you are working in a team, your team members can find out some description about your created table. Okay, that's fine. The row label. These are the columns which we have inside the table. So that's okay. The key column, the column with the unique value. So that will be our product ID. Yes, this is the product ID column, which is having the unique values for our column. Now it is displaying here that it's my key column. Okay. Is anything hidden? I want to hide this table from my model. I don't want this table to be I don't want to delete the table, but I want to hide this table. So what I can do is I can click on is hidden. As soon as I do that, this table will be hidden now. This table will not be appearing into our uh, the, uh, the the data set model, okay, into the data set. So to make it appear once again, you have to definitely make it visible once again. So undo this action now. So it's not hidden now. It will be appearing into our data set. Is it a featured table? Now, what is the meaning of a featured table? Okay, let's understand first of all uh, what is the meaning of a featured table. The featured table is the one which same thing once again. It allows you for an associative relationship. It allows you to make the associative relationship. So, what is the row label? The product ID, and the key column is the product ID. Save it, and if you can describe the data inside this table, the featured table, this table contains information about product. Okay, save it. You can have a more better description for the feature table if you click on this learn more option, and you can see a detail on Microsoft website as well. Click on save. Done. And now if you click on advanced option as well, you can find some more points. The storage mode I have already explained in a very much detail about because definitely it's an import mode right now. We cannot switch it to direct query or dual here, but I have already explained in detail a lot about this, so we're not going to repeat it. If you are confused, go back to module 4 and have a look on the differences between these three modes. Okay, so I'm happy with the import mode, no problem, that's done. So you can do this for each and every table. You can go and do some editing options, whatever you want in the property section, and you can, so that you can make it more better to understand with your team members. Okay, that looks okay. And if I go back here, I'm finding my data model is looking correct now. I have a good healthy data model, so no problem. Uh, what I want from you now, I want from you to go inside your data set, create the relationships properly, create a proper data model. Okay, and in the remaining part, we'll conclude this session with some little bit more practices and plus some questions on this. So thank you. Go and practice on this. And the last part of this module will be little bit summarizing part of this session. Thank you.